Hello and welcome to another one of my Football Manager 2015 videos. Today what we're going to do is just have a look at a counter-attacking tactic. If you've watched my other videos, you've seen that I've given a general overview of how tactics work, how player instructions work, etc, etc. So people seem to want to see a lot of tactics videos, so I thought I'd do one giving you an example of a tactic that you maybe you'd like to try, maybe tweak a bit for yourself, see how it goes, etc, etc. So I thought I'd start with a counter-attacking tactic because I quite like them myself. So the first thing I'm going to do is, this is using the Schalke team that I'm currently using in my Let's Play video, by the way, which is why I've got Carlos Fierro up front for them. Yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a couple of players back here. I'm going to change it. I want a defensive midfielder and a deep line playmaker in defend, because you want to have players back and encourage the opposition onto you, which is the reason why I brought these two players back, so they're not playing as high up the pitch. I want to change the mentality to counter for obvious reasons, and you shouldn't need me to explain that to you, so if you don't know why I did that, then you're watching the wrong video. I'm going to have structured because I want my players to largely stick to their roles and positions. I don't want the defenders getting involved in the attack and that kind of business. Okay, so team instructions. I'm just going to clear these because they're from my old tactic. First thing I'm going to do is more direct passing, because when you're in possession with when you're looking to counter, you want to get the ball forward as quickly as possible. You don't want to fart about like Barcelona. You just want to get the ball forward and you want to get it forward quickly. I'm going to have run at defence, because I want them, when they have the ball, to be running at the opposition defence. I want to, again, it's all the instructions I'm giving them are largely aimed at getting the ball forward as quickly as possible. So I'm going to put higher tempo. I'm not going to do much higher tempo because I don't want the players to get tired, but I am going to do higher tempo because, well, higher tempo, faster game, etc, etc. I don't think we need to do drop deeper because we're a counter-attacking mentality, so we should be dropping deeper anyway. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. Passing to space, yeah, that's a good one. To clear the ball up quickly and have the players run onto it. If you've got good pace, that is. I've got some decent pace in the attack, so I think that's a good one for me. Is there anything else we want to do here? I think for the most part that is what I want to do. I mean, when you come up against different kinds of opposition, then you can do exploit the flanks, etc, etc. But personally, as a general rule, I don't like to use these for every single game. I like to mix and match. So if I'm playing a team that isn't using wingers and only has fullbacks, then I'll do exploit the flanks so we can overload them on the flanks, etc. But as a general tactic, I'm not going to have that selected. Shape, probably play wider so we can make the use of the pace we've got on the wings. I'm just debating whether to actually add drop deeper or not. I guess we can use drop deeper. I'm not sure that you need to with the counter, because as you can see here, the aim is to keep men behind the ball, etc, etc. But yeah, whatever. You know what, actually, for the purpose of this video, I am going to do exploit the flanks, because one of the best ways to use a counter-attacking tactic is to have pacey wingers on your team exploiting the space that was left by the opposition fullbacks pushing forward. So yeah, I'm going to go with exploit the flanks. It's not always necessary, it just depends who you're playing against. But yeah, for the sake of this video, we're going to go for it. So I'll just give you another look at this actually. This, for me, is the main meat of the tactic. This is the most important stuff done. Now, I might do whipped crosses depending on what kind of centre forward I'm playing. If it's someone good in the air, then maybe I'll do, I don't know, float crosses or whatever. Not float crosses, sorry, whipped crosses. Yeah, you don't really want to do float crosses on a counter-attacking tactic, I don't think. maybe pump ball into the box. But you know, whatever. That's getting too much into style of play. That depends on your forward players and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, just ignore that for now. I'm just rambling a little bit. But let's have a look at the centre forward. Personally, I would play with a Trequartista. I always have trouble pronouncing that. That player basically just sits forward and doesn't do a whole lot of defending. But if you're counter-attacking, I think it's a good idea to have a skilled player up there just waiting for when you do actually counter-attack. As I was saying before, I like to have two midfielders sitting deep. I would probably have the attacking midfielder here on support. What else have we got? I'd say maybe more direct passes, maybe dribble more. Yeah, maybe whatever. That doesn't matter too much. One thing I will actually do is get rid of the close down more on the attacking players. This is like this from my other tactic, but it's not really necessary when you're doing a counter-attacking kind of game. I'm gonna have the wingers maybe more direct passes. Do we want to sit wider? That's up to you. Depends on what kind of wingers you've got. Again, maybe more direct passes. I'm not actually going to do too much to the players. I don't want to mess with them too much, because I think the overall team instructions that we've got are quite good. Maybe fewer risky passes from the defensive midfielder. We want him to just win it back aggressively and distribute it to the more creative players that are going to make things happen. Tempted to have move into channels maybe, because that can pull players out of position, which is useful when you're counter-attacking. I'm tempted to do dribble more, but I'm not sure. Maybe not now, we'll leave that for now. Other than that, I don't think there's really a whole lot. We can do the keeper actually. We want distribute quickly. So if it comes to the keeper, you want the keeper to get it back out again quickly. How you want to do that, whether you want to kick or throw or whatever, just depends on your own keeper. I would quite like to throw in this circumstance, but my keeper's throwing is crap, so I'm not going to. I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent here, but if you start a game as Schalke, good God, replace the keeper. I really don't like this keeper. I think he's quite poor all over the place. Like, first touch 10, communication 9, throwing 11, technique 10, decisions only 12, determination 10. I mean, he's just not a very good keeper. I think that is most of it done, although more direct passes I'd probably have with him. But those are all little tweaks. They're not, as I've said in my other videos, player instructions are not always that important. They are important, but they're not the be all and end all. Especially if you do a more fluid mentality, then they're going to ignore a lot of your instructions anyway. The more structured you are here, the more the individual player instructions make a difference, which is why I'm doing them, because I'm structured, so they do need maybe a bit of tweaking, but I always find that it's the main team tactic and the formation and these instructions that have the most bearing on the outcome of a match. Sometimes it's best not to get too bogged down with player instructions and opposition instructions. Sometimes it's best to just find a tactic that works, get it trained up so that you're up here, you're all the way along, and after you've played a few games of that tactic you can start tweaking it to get players to do what you want. But anyway, that is my counter-attacking tactic. Of course, you don't have to stick to this formation while you're doing a counter-attacking tactic. You can do all kinds of things, like maybe you want to do something more like that, or I don't know, maybe something without any width. I wouldn't recommend a counter-attacking tactic without wingers, because wingers are really useful in pouring forward quickly, I think, and they find the most space to exploit. But you know, you can do it this way if you want. I mean, you can really do any formation, but I just find that that having a couple of defensive-minded midfielders is really a good idea when you're playing counter-attacking. And I mean, one thing you have to get used to when you play this kind of tactic as well is, you know, when you're in a game and there's the possession bar at the bottom of the screen, you have to get used to not having as much possession as the other team, even sometimes when you're at home, because you are looking to counter-attack, you're not looking to hold possession. It's just part of this tactic, and it's something you have to get used to. What else is there to think about? You can't expect to never concede either with this tactic. I mean, even on this game, if you have the most defensive formation and tactic possible, there are teams that are still going to score against you. That's just how the game works. Don't expect to just create a counter-attacking tactic and all of a sudden you're not conceding and you're scoring every time they try and attack you. That is not going to happen. That's not how this game works. But anyway, I hope that I've given you a good insight into how to create a counter-attacking tactic. I'll probably do another couple of tactics, maybe control, which is one that I pretty much always use. I love the control tactic. And maybe some direct tactics, maybe a tactic using a target man, etc. I'll give you another look at how a couple of other tactics work. But I hope this has been of some use to you, and if you like the the idea of this tactic, then why not try it out yourself, tweak it a bit, give it a go. Maybe in the comments post what happened, if you liked it or not, you know, whatever. But in the meantime, anyway, I'll see you around.